All right, today we are diving deep into a truly game-changing book by Michael Easter called The Comfort Crisis. And we're going to unpack a pretty wild idea. What if our endless search for an easier, more comfortable life is the very thing that's keeping us from living a great one?
No, really, just stop and think about that for a second. Our entire world is built around ease. We've got temperature-controlled houses, food that shows up with a single tap on our phone, endless entertainment right in our pockets. We have literally engineered almost every single challenge our ancestors ever faced right out of our lives. But the core idea in this book is that this constant comfort, well, it's come at a massive price. It's chipping away at our resilience, our mental health, and maybe even our sense of purpose.
To really get this crisis, you have to get the author, Michael Easter. For him, this wasn't just some abstract theory. He was a successful health journalist, but behind the scenes, he was in a serious battle with drinking, basically using alcohol as a liquid comfort blanket. His whole journey started when he hit rock bottom, and in that moment, he had this incredible flash of clarity. He saw he had a choice: either keep clinging to the numbing comfort that was literally killing him, or get profoundly, deeply uncomfortable and change his entire life. And that personal crisis? It opened his eyes to a much bigger one. Easter argues that all of us are caught in what he calls the modern comfort trap. See, our world is designed for maximum ease. But our biology, which was forged over thousands and thousands of years of hardship, it's dangerously mismatched for the world we live in now. I mean, just look at this slide. The difference is it's staggering. For 99% of human history, life looked like that left column: scarcity, total uncertainty, constant physical work. Our brains and bodies evolved to thrive in that world. They became these amazing problem-solving machines. Now look at the right column. That's us. Our lives are predictable, we sit all day, and we are stimulated 24/7. As Easter points out, the iPhone basically killed boredom forever in 2007. And this huge disconnect, this evolutionary mismatch, creates a massive problem. Our brains are still hardwired to look for challenges and threats, but in our super safe world, they can't find any. So what do? They invent them. You know that free-floating anxiety you feel sometimes? That might just be your ancient survival brain running a program it was never built for in a world it doesn't even recognize.
So how in the world did we get here? Well, it's through a process that Easter calls comfort creep. And he tells this fantastic story about a Harvard psychologist who noticed that when TSA agents stop finding real threats, they don't just relax. No, they unconsciously expand their definition of a threat and start flagging things like bananas and hairspray. Our brains do the exact same thing with comfort. A new luxury comes along, like an escalator right next to a set of stairs, and we adapt to it almost instantly. Pretty soon, taking the stairs feels like a chore. Today's luxury becomes tomorrow's absolute necessity, and our comfort zone just keeps shrinking without us even realizing it's happening. Okay, so this mismatch and this relentless creep of comfort, they aren't just making us soft. They're actually harming us. Our brains, which are starved of the real challenges they evolved to handle, are starting to malfunction. Let's take a look at the real price we're paying for this easy life. This slide right here illustrates a pretty devastating consequence. One study Easter talks about found that rates of anxiety and depression among college students shot up by a staggering 80% in the generation that grew up right after helicopter parenting became the norm. We went from parents who just hovered to what experts are now calling snowplow parents, the ones who violently clear every single obstacle from their child's path, leaving them with absolutely no experience of dealing with adversity. None. So here's the crucial point. We have engineered away the very things that make us resilient. When you never face a hard time, you never learn how to overcome one. You become fragile. There's fascinating research from a psychologist named Mark Siri that shows people who have faced some adversity in life are mentally tougher than people who faced a lot, but they're also tougher than people who have faced none at all. Turns out what doesn't kill us really can make us stronger, but we've built a world that tries to make sure nothing ever even gets the chance to try.
Okay, so if an easy life is the problem, then the solution has got to be reintroducing difficulty, right? But how do you even do that? Easter found this incredibly powerful framework, one that's rooted in an ancient myth that gives us a modern-day prescription for our comfort crisis.
This is honestly one of the most powerful stories in the whole book. It comes from Japan's oldest text. So the god Izanagi, he goes down into the underworld to get his dead wife back. He's facing demons and zombies, a true hellscape, and he barely makes it out alive. And to cleanse himself of all that darkness from hell, he dives into a freezing cold river. The experience just rockets him into this state of sumikiri, or pure clarity, making him stronger in mind, body, and spirit. And that myth, it became the foundation for really profound practice.
And here is the modern version of that. Easter learns about this thing called misogi from a performance scientist named Marcus Elliott. It's a once-a-year challenge with two very simple rules. Rule number 1, it has to be so incredibly difficult that you have about a 50% chance of actually finishing it. Rule 2, it can't kill you. There has to be a safety net. The point isn't to be reckless. It's to intentionally take on a challenge so huge that it forces you to find out what you're really made of. That 50% chance of failure, that's the secret sauce. It's so high that your ego can't get involved. You can't guarantee you'll succeed, so you have no choice but to let go of the outcome and just focus on the effort. It quiets down that voice in your head that's always calculating and protecting your self-image, and when it does that, it shows you a version of yourself you never, ever knew existed. And these are not just theories. These are actual misogashis that people have done. I mean, think about how absurdly difficult these are. For the rock carry, one guy dives down, carries an 85-pound rock, maybe 20 yards, comes up, and the next guy goes. They did this for 5 hours. The paddleboard trip, they were falling into the freezing ocean every 10 minutes. And that last one is the one Easter himself does for the book, a grueling, month-long caribou hunt in the Alaskan Arctic that really becomes the backbone of his whole journey.
This quote from Marcus Elliott just nails the whole why behind misogi. He explains that in our modern world, you can live a totally fine life without ever being truly challenged. We just exist in this tiny, comfortable little circle right in the center of our potential. Misogi is all about pushing out to those edges just to see what's actually there. And when you do that, you come back changed because now you know that your perceived limits, they were just an illusion all along.
So a once-a-year misogi is transformative for sure. But what about the other 364 days of the year? Most of us can't go on a 33-day Arctic hunt. The key is to weave smaller discomforts, these little micro doses of misogi, into your everyday life. And Easter offers some amazing tools for this. You can try cold exposure, it builds mental grit and actually activates good kinds of fat in your body. Or try embracing boredom. Just put your phone down and let your mind wander. It's a huge catalyst for creativity. Or try rucking. It's literally just walking with a weighted backpack. Easter says it's like a perfect exercise, reconnecting us to how humans have moved and carried things for millennia. Every little choice to take the harder path adds up, building this incredible foundation of resilience over time. So, we've seen how comfort makes us weaker, and discomfort makes us stronger. But the book's final and maybe most profound argument is that this whole journey isn't just about being physically tough. It's about finding something way, way deeper, a real sense of meaning. To really explore this ideal of a meaningful life, Easter travels to Bhutan, a country famous for measuring gross national happiness instead of gross domestic product. And while he's there, a monk gives him this incredibly powerful critique of the Western way of thinking. We chase a checklist, right? Good job, nice car, bigger house. But it's a cycle of wanting that never, ever ends. Even if you get everything on the list, you just add more things to it. He argues this whole chase is a trap, a kind of Western laziness that keeps us busy but totally unfulfilled. And this right here is the ultimate takeaway from the whole book. The confidence you get from buying a new car, it's gone in a week. But the confidence you get from pushing through a brutal workout or from surviving 33 days in the Arctic, that is earned. It's real. It becomes a part of who you are. True meaning, Easter concludes, isn't found by checking items off a list. It is forged in the fire of choosing to do hard things, and it's a direct result of discovering what lies on the edges of your potential. So, as we wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with the same question Easter poses to his readers. I want you to take a hard look at your own life. Pinpoint the comforts that you cling to, all the little ways you avoid difficulty, and then ask yourself what those comforts might be costing you. But then ask yourself an even more important question. What hard thing will you choose to do? Not because you have to, but because you want to find out who you really are on the other side of it. The answer could change everything.